वो मेरे ईयरफोन्स रह गए नीचे।
We are unable to hear you.
God bless. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shila Gurudev. Hare Krishna, Shila Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Shila Gurudev, we are able to hear you now.
Okay. So we can start now.
Yes, Gurudev.
I'm sorry, I will take a few minutes to get properly set. Jai Radha Madhava. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Padaya Bhakti Krishna Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Madhyamitvirandasya Dhyanjana Sarvaya. Yakshulunitandina Tasmai Sri Namaha. Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stavisam Jena Bhutale. Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Sajivam Sadvitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padanam Sahagana Padita Sri Visakha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namaste Tapakanchana Gurangi Rati Vrindavaneshwari Vrisavana Devi Namami Hari Priya Vanchakal Vadaru Vestra Kripa Samjare Vacha Patitanam Pavibhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Bhagavad Gita Sthitis Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Take up back here. Just give me 5 minutes. I'll be back. I'm sorry. Yeah, put the let me just stay here and do my class. So. Give me the competition. The light there, I can see.
So trying to get to the back.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Good afternoon.
Okay, shall we continue? Gita, we are continuing from text 56, 57?
58, Gurudev.
Okay, 58. 58, right. So we change the slope together. Dada samharate chayam kurmo ganiya sarabasa India nindriyarate sashya pragya pratishtita.
One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness.
Very good. So, Krishna gave example of tortoise. As the tortoise withdraws its limbs within the shell. So, what do you understand by that? What is our understanding? Kuruma is here. What do you understand by these words?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please set my respectful obeisances.
Thank you.
Maharaj, I can try, like,
Yes, try.
as we are, yes, Maharaj, as we follow 4 regulative principles. So, if we found any situation in which that 4 principles can be broken, so at that very moment, we should confine or restrict our senses not to do anything wrong. So as like tortoise does, when tortoise finds any fear, so what he does, his shell is so strong that even a stone cannot break it. So he withdraws all his limbs within the shell. So like this, we should do that when we find any situation in which we can lose. So we should withdraw our senses like this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Maharaj, I would like to comment here. A devotee who is fixed in Krishna consciousness has been compared here with a tortoise, Just like a tortoise can withdraw his senses from the sense objects, as Mataji said that his outer shell is so strong that even a stone cannot break it. Similarly, a devotee who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is so strong by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga that he can control his senses very easily whenever circumstances arise.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So on our screen, what do we see? What do we see on our screen? Whom do we see there? Who is there? You see the picture there?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes,
In this
Maharaj.
picture, Mahaprabhu is lying on the floor and his servant is trying to cross Mahaprabhu.
Okay. Yes, that is Govinda Das.
Yes. Yes, Maharaj.
Govinda
Maharaj, can I tell?
Yes.
Maharaj, there was one instance that after there was one incident that after the Kirtan, I think after Rath Yatra, Mahaprabhu was very much tired that he lied down at the entrance of the door. And Govind has to give the foot massage to Mahaprabhu. So, but he was inside the room. So, at that moment, for the service, he climbed the Mahaprabhu and he did the his lotus feet massage seva. But when the same circumstance also arises, he had to honor the prasad. But then again, he didn't climb the Mahaprabhu. He sat there, he didn't honor prasad like this.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. So here in this is in Jagannath Puri, Gambira. This is in Gambira. No. Gambira? Yeah, it's Gambira. Which time we used to sleep. The room is very small. Very small. So Govinda has to do his service. For that, he went against the etiquette because it's his service. So he crossed the road and he went inside to do his service. Now he finished doing the service, he couldn't cross the road again. So he was there. The next morning, I said, why did you do that? Yeah, I have right to do my service. For that service, I can commit an offense, no problem. But after the service, it is sales gratification if you have to do that. Therefore, I did not cross you over. Even though I did the first time, I didn't cross you over again because the crossing was for you. Crossing back again was for me, and I don't have the right to do that. So here, Krishna is teaching us by using an example of a tortoise. Now, a Sutta Pragya is self-realized soul. It knows when the senses has to be used. And it knows when the senses should not be used, like tortoise. When there is danger, Prabhupada said in the purport, the best example said herein is the tortoise. The tortoise can at any moment wind up its shells and exhibit them again at any time for a particular purpose. Only for a particular purpose. A person who is not a devotee does not know when the senses should be used, how it should be used. A person in Krishna consciousness knows when the senses should be used and when it should not be used. That is why a devotee can do anything and never be entangled. Acts chapter 5, text 7. Yoga Yukta Vishuddha Atma. So, Prabhupada continues. Similarly, the senses of the Krishna conscious persons are used only for some particular purpose in the service of the Lord and are withdrawn otherwise. That's a state of pragya. We have similar examples of the Prabhupada himself. The devotees wanted to replace the the picture on where Srila Prabhupada was sitting. And Srila Prabhupada was sitting there. And devotees, they wanted to fix it back. And they didn't say anything because Srila Prabhupada was sitting there. By their expression, Prabhupada noticed that there is something they wanted to do. She said, what do you want to do? Prabhupada wanted to fix back the picture, but we are waiting for you to leave the place before you can do it. Prabhupada said, for service, you can climb on my head. For service, you can climb on my head. There's no problem. Yes, nobody will climb on his head, but for this is a humility of Prabhupada, and also to teach you the importance of devotees knowing how to use our senses when it is necessary. That is the fact that Krishna described in chapter 5. Yoga yukta vishuddha atma vichatma jitendriya. A devotee's senses are fully controlled, fully under control. That's a sign that one has a control over the senses. The senses are, they should be used, but how the senses should be used is the prerogative of devotees who have been trained. Others does not know how to use the senses. Therefore, they use the senses anyhow, and the consequences come. We have been saying that we are always victimized by the simple activities which we do. So here, an example is given here from Prabhupada, Kubina Sicham Mahaprabhu. Tortoise is also here. What is the next? 58. 58 or 59. Can you move forward? Let's see. Yeah, 59. So text 59. Visaya vini varatante irahara shadehina rasar varajam rasupyasya param dristra nivaratati.
Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But seizing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness.
Yes. Although the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, restriction does not mean that we don't have the taste again. Or being a transcendental, it does not mean that one has become like stone or senseless. No, we still have all the senses. We still have all the senses. We have all the necessary sentiments. They are all there because they are part of the soul. But a devotee who has a higher taste, a transcendentalist renunciation is not difficult because he has a higher taste. We don't artificially renounce anything because you have something to replace the lower taste. We have something to replace the lower taste. That is why you don't see devotee falling like the other yogis. Because the process they follow is very dry. And it is too mechanical. But the process of Krishna consciousness in control is mild. Although it is mild, but it's not less in quality. Because it is of a transcendental nature. So it is mild. In such a way, the sense will not overreact to the restriction which is imposed on senses. The sense will tolerate it and gradually be transformed. Yes. One who has tested the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness. no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for the less intelligent neophyte in the spiritual advancement of life. But such restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. In one of the Kumbh Melas, Prabhupada was informed that one of the Nagababas left the body. One of the Nagababas left the body. Prabhupada said, yes, why not? It is good. It's good. It is good. And Krishna consciousness is very perfect. By providence, it was a jog of gulab jamans on proper table. Perfect arrangement. So Prabhupada took it and pumped it in the mouth and started enjoying it just like this. Krishna consciousness just like this gulab jaman, relishing it. Instead of someone going hanging on it in the Himalayas on top of the ice and practicing dry activity naked. Even though we put dress on our body, we still feel cold. And somebody deliberately sitting on top of ice. So anyway, Prabhupada saying that was too much. Better to tame the senses peacefully. Let the process of Krishna consciousness. When the senses tested is testing gulab jamun, is testing nice prasadam. The senses will naturally be satisfied. And we have time to chant Hare Krishna instead of making it too dry. Too dry. It will react seriously. And the reaction will be negative. I show you if you are not tolerant, if one is not tolerant and you are accumulating unnecessary situations, but you are not tolerant, you are not a tolerant person, but we are accumulating unnecessary situations. It will not be long before we will explode. But if one is naturally tolerant, we will be able to blend with every situation peacefully and happily. But if one is not a tolerant person, pretending to be humble is very dangerous because one will explode. Something which you will have settled when it was small. Will accumulate it when it becomes huge that when it explodes. When we react, it will be like using a machine gun to kill a mosquito. That's overreaction. Our senses will overreact. Because it is not properly trained. In Christian consciousness, the senses are properly trained. Nice Christian prasadam, because Christians have tested that. The senses will gradually be controlled. So a transcendentalist renunciation is not difficult because he has a higher test, as Prabhupada is saying here. One who have tested Krishna consciousness, the test of Krishna consciousness is very, very difficult to go again for something which is low. We will not go for something low. We will always look for something high. So we don't see a devotee in Krishna consciousness living Krishna consciousness for impersonalist philosophy. But we can see people from that platform rising to the transcendental platform and they will never go back again. So where they go, so never go back again. Yes. Next. So 60. Yatatohi apikanteya purushasya vipasthita indriyani pramati haranti prasabham mana.
The senses are so strong. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them.
Yes. So that's what happens when one does not have a higher taste. As we're giving an example before, when you're not tolerant, and when we're just simply pretending to tolerate situations, we are going to explode very, very soon. So this is the reaction. Tech 60 is a reaction to a person who is artificially trying to control the senses, and is not is not having a higher taste. There are many people who upon hearing about the importance of vegetarianism, they started practicing. But you don't know how to cook. And some people, vegetarianism means that you don't eat only vegetables. There's some people, that's the mentality. Yeah, vegetarian means only vegetables. You don't eat it like rice, you don't have it like wheat. So some people, so vegetarianism means what? Now I will eat only leaves. After some time, you ask, am I a goat? Am I a cow? That's only these things. That's one thing. Second thing, it doesn't know how to cook, so it's not tasty. So when we wonder, I'm going to continue my life, spiritual life is punishment. No, this is a torture. So some people who do it for a short time, they'll give it up. We met some people like that on Sankirtan. Oh, I was practicing with it for some time and I stopped it. So for not a surprise. Why? That is what happens when one does not have a higher taste. So what we are doing is not bringing us a taste superior to what we are giving up. So there is no difference. There's nothing to show. But when there is a higher taste, we will not remember the lower taste. Who would like to live a palace for a flat 2 BHK? 2 BHK says 2 bedroom flat. India says 2 BHK or 3 BHK. Who would like to live a palace for 2 BHK or 2 room flat? Or even if it is 3 rooms? Who will do that? Nobody will do that. Nobody will do it. We would like to remain there and go up, even to estate, not just a mansion, not to estate, and also even the whole planet. Yes, you want to go higher. Be pastita, full of discriminating knowledge, full of discriminating knowledge. I'll have an example here, Jamuna Acharya, a great saint and devotee. Since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, there must be a result. What's the result? And I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor. Yes, that is the result. If one is actually engaged in Christian consciousness, this is what we get. So when we see our Acharya lamenting by the Benda Puri and all they will say, oh, Krishna, I don't have love for Godhead. Rupa Goswami. I don't have love for Godhead. I don't even follow the process of developing love for God. I'm not fortunate to take birth in a good family that is deep into Krishna consciousness. Everything is against me. We should not misunderstand the acharyas to think that they are lamenting. That is spiritual lamentation. And spiritual lamentation means what? They are expressing their Krishna, their Krishna ras, prem ras. That is what they are relishing. But they put it in a negative word because of their humility. So Jamuna Acharya is teaching. Since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna, and I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor. Whenever I think of sex, life, what a woman, my face at once turns from it, and I spit at the thought. And Prabhupada gave an example of Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni, he performed austerity for 60,000 years before he fell down. It's not before, it's after. He has spent 60,000 years in perfume austerity before he had problem with Menaka. And Subramuni, he was already 100 years old when he got to marry 50 wives. 50, yeah? He was already 100 years old. What is the trend of a person who is already 100 years old? What is a person's trend for sex life? You're already 100 years. What strength is there for sex? But that is the time he married somebody. Of course, this is the mood, so he transformed his body when he saw the girl were not interested in. So he can do that. But for a normal person, when you're 100 years, what taste is there again? Even the taste is there, you can't function. Don't function. So anyway, the point is that the senses, the Christian already said, they are really, very impetuous, very stubborn, very, very stubborn, obstinate, obstinate. Doesn't agree easily with everything. No, I don't agree. This is what you want. No, I don't agree with it. No, I don't agree. That's the senses. Very, very stubborn. But even though the senses are very strong and impetuous, or June, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. He is endeavoring to control them. 60,000 years, not 60 years, 60,000 years. That time they have 100,000 years, so they can spend 60,000 out of it. And they have 40,000 left. So that is how obstinate, strong our material senses are. What about spiritual senses? How powerful must our spiritual senses be? So anyway, Jamunacharya is explaining. He's explaining his experience. He's showing us the life of a person in Krishna consciousness. So Vishwamitra Muni had this difficulty to tell how powerful is Krishna consciousness. When Vishwamitra Muni, Vasistha Muni, and Gautam Rishi, when they met Krishna, Vasistha Muni is addicted to spiritual philosophy. I'm not using that, I'm using my own. He's addicted to spiritual philosophy. Gautam Muni is addicted to spiritual chanting mantras. They are adept in chanting mantras. Vishwamitra Muni is in charge of it. He is also very experienced. We already mentioned 60,000 years is good in austerity. But when they met Lord Krishna in Kurukshetra, Krishna, looking at the austerity, the sacrifice they've been making, the teachings of all these powerful sages, Lord Krishna took pity upon them and influenced them. Krishna influenced their consciousness to turn to bhakti. Therefore, all of them changed and they offered beautiful prayer to Lord Krishna. And before they offered prayer to Krishna, they were thinking, if we directly ask Krishna for prayer, Krishna may turn us off. Oh, you're already successful in the spiritual discipline. So by asking for bhakti, just continue. They had that in mind, that Krishna is going to turn them off. Therefore, he told Krishna that in the past, we have seen that when people who have been addicted to other things, they have not become successful until they came to bhakti. Therefore, it is bhakti which is the topmost of all processes of self-realization. Bhakti is the topmost. That is, it is superior to Gyan, it is superior to yoga, it is superior to karma. Therefore, we are simply begging you for bhakti, not because we are not successful in our spiritual practice. So Krishna blessed them with bhakti, with prema. So eventually, Vasishtha Muni got prema, Gautam Muni got prema, Vishwamitra Muni also they got prema. So Krishna consciousness is the topmost. Not just that Krishna is speaking, not just that devotees are speaking. These are proved by sages themselves. All right.
Maharaj, may I ask a question?
Yes, what's the question?
Maharaj, like in this verse, the point is of higher taste. Higher taste has been mentioned here in this verse. So it's not possible to get that higher taste in the beginning stages for a neophyte devotee. So what should a neophyte devotee do? Should he wait till that higher taste comes to him, or what should he do?
Higher taste is always there. Higher taste is always there. Higher taste is always there. It's just that it is just like, when the sun is rising, we don't see it very clear. So we cannot say the sun is not there. The sun is always there. But as the sun continues to rise, the cloud also will be disappearing, and eventually become full. This is what is happening. So the higher taste is always there. If the higher taste is not there, you will not practice for long. After a show, you give it up. Or a Papa get an example. The working ability is there in the child. That is why, even though the child will have some difficulty practicing how to work, that the difficulty will not disturb the child from continuing to practice to work. Similarly, because the higher taste is always there, it is always there naturally with the soul. So the soul will always hanker for that. So even in our neophyte stage, in the neophyte stage, we are not getting it fully, but we get it through pasada. we get it through.
Spawn bullets.
Yeah. So Gulab Jam is there. That's our higher taste. Then the heavy kirtan is there. That's our higher taste for some people. Beautiful deity dressing and the decorations and the sweet presence of Krishna in the deity form. It's there. This is our higher taste. We have varieties of ways to experience higher taste in Krishna consciousness. You meet the bright faces devotees all over the world. Where will you see that? All over the world, you see beautiful, bright faces all over. See how all of you are smiling. Where do you think you will get this one? It's only in Christian consciousness you get it. So this is our intoxication. So right from the beginning, the higher taste is there, and we're getting a glimpse of it, which is encouraging. Don't you see sometimes you dream about Krishna? Have you ever dreamed of Krishna?
Yes,
have you ever dreamed? Yeah, so what is that? Is it not a glimpse of higher taste?
Yes.
Yeah, that's encouraging. It's encouraging. Krishna is encouraging God. There is something here. There is something here. You will get it if you continue. And then you also see higher taste from observing those already there. Is it not? So some devotees are already there. You can also see that from them. So, it is there. You see, in chapter 4, Krishna is going to tell Arjuna, see, what I'm teaching you, people follow this, they attempt perfection. So it is not that they are doing anything new. If you follow also, you become pure like them. This is higher taste. Okay, Krishna, okay. So people before me, they succeeded. Okay, so there is hope that I will succeed here. Tell me continue. That is higher taste. So it's always there. We are experiencing it. And the more we are attentive to it, the better. The more we are aware to the higher taste in Krishna consciousness, the better. Because that will give us a lot of enthusiasm and encouragement. When we have challenges and you remember, that, Krishna protected me when I have such a situation. This is higher taste. How will you forget that? Krishna do something very wonderful in our life. There is higher taste. Yes. I'm sure all of you have beautiful, wonderful experiences about some challenges you have, how Krishna came in and very easily you get out without, even though you are incapable of anything. Me, I have millions. I have millions. Yes.
Okay, Maharaj.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go to 61. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita mat para pasihi yashindriyani tasya pragya pratishtita.
One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence.
Very good. So, what is the significant word here in this text 61? Significant word.
Maharaj, fixing consciousness upon me.
Very good. When you see in this, how do you call that? Look at the screen. How do you call that? One who is fixed in Krishna consciousness. How do you call it?
Pragya Pratishtita.
Look at the screen. Look at this. Matpara. It's Matpara. Yes. Who is the example of Matpara? The Matpara Bhakta. Who is Matpara Bhakta? Matpara.
Is it Arjun Maharaj?
No.
Yashoda mother, he was always...
Very good, very good, very good. Very good, very good. Have you read the purport?
Maharaj Amrish.
Yes, Ambarish Maharaj. This is Matpara Bhakta. Ambarish Maharaj. Yes. Ambarish Maharaj is Matpara Bhakta. What is that? Steady intelligence from devotional service. Devotional service brings steady intelligence. The intelligence becomes purified and fixed. Matpara. In relationship with me, one who is in deep relationship with Krishna. Yes, the first time Krishna directly referring to himself as the object of devotion. It's the first time. In this book, first time Krishna referred directly himself. All along he's speaking. Also in chapter 15, Krishna is speaking as he talking about somebody. Always towards the end, he referred to himself. So this is Matpara Bhakta and Barish Maharaj. And unless one is Krishna conscious, it is not at all possible to control the senses. And Barish Maharaj has the full control of the senses. Why? All his senses were engaged in Krishna consciousness. As cited above, this great sage Dhruvasamuni took a quarrel with Maharaj Ambarish, and Dhruvasamuni unnecessarily became angry out of pride and therefore could not check his senses. But Ambarish Maharaj was not a yogi like this morning. This morning we explained, yesterday we explained it. The Pandavas did not practice austerity in the forest. That's the Pandavas. They are in the house, in the palace. Prahlad Maharaj didn't practice austerity like his father did. All this, the labor Hiranyakasipu underwent to occupy such an opulent situation was enjoyed by Prahlad Maharaj, not Hiranyakasipu. Prahlad Maharaj enjoyed everything. So he suffered. Prahlad enjoyed. So also, the Pandavas, they were in the palace. But Krishna was living with them in the palace, and the sages who were performing seriously in the forest had to leave their place to come to Maharaj Yudhishthira's palace to see Krishna. Which is a devotee. And Maharaj did not practice any form of mysticism to get mystic power. But somebody has the power to penetrate into Vaikuntha. He has power to enter into Vaikuntha. He did not stay there because he was contaminated by picking a quarrel with a devotee out of envy. See the contamination of envy. When he entered Vaikuntha, he didn't stay there. Lord Krishna mentioned Bhagavad Gita. What did he say? Somebody entered there, but he didn't stay there. Why? He was contaminated. Envy of a devotee. Very, very dangerous. So dangerous that one can go to Vaikuntha. One will have the opportunity, the fortune to go to Vaikuntha, but the person will not stay there. He was thrown out. Lord Krishna told him, see, as Lord Shiva did not help you, Lord Brahma did not help you, I also cannot help you. I cannot. I'm Bhakta Paradina. My independence has been given to my devotees. I cannot help you. If I want to help you, I will tell you, go back to Ambaraz Mari, the person you commonize, you think is a cheap, useless, ordinary householder. Go and meet him. If he forgives you, that's the only hope you have. Nobody can save you. Not even me can save you. And Durvasamuni said, but you are Brahmana, go Brahmana Hitayacha. Krishna said, yes. Yes. But now you are not. You have forfeited that position because you are envious of a devotee. Therefore, you are no more, you are not a Brahmana anymore. So I cannot help you. Even though I'm very, very inclined, very, very devoted to Brahmanas, you have left that position. So you are not a Brahman any longer. So I cannot help you. You better go back. If you need help, you should go back. The person whom you offended. So we should be careful with devotees. If there is anything a devotee should be afraid of, is offenses to the devotees, Vaishnava Parad, blaspheming devotees, criticizing devotees, envying devotees. There's nothing as dangerous as that. Look at the Vasamuni. When entered Vaikuntha, we should try to understand what it means. Somebody entered Vaikuntha and came back again to the material world. Anyway, Maharaj is not Parad. He has control over the senses. Why? Because of his devotional service, he developed steady intelligence. And you know, in the case of Maharaj, Lord Krishna left his Sudarshan Chakra there. Krishna doesn't carry his Sudarshan Chakra. He didn't take it away from Maharaj's house. He left it there to give protection to his. In chapter 12, you see Krishna say, I'm a swift deliverer of my devotees. Because Sudarshan Chakra is planted behind the devotee. So Srila Virabhushan, a great scholar and acharya in the line of Madhpara devotees. Mad Bhakti Prabhavena Sarabendriya Vijaya Puribika Swatma Drishti Sulabheti Bhavaha. The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. That's it. Baladev Virabhushan is one of the greatest acharyas. So this is a realization like Acharya. All of them have the same experience when they share with us. All right. So we should.
Maharaj, can I ask a question, please?
Yes. What is the question?
Maharaj, why do we say that Arjun is not considered as Matpara Bhakta here?
Arjun is practicing in this situation. He's still practicing. Krishna is teaching him. Arjun is smart para when after hearing about Gita. but Ambaredman is already established and accomplished. It's an accomplished devotee. And he faces challenges. And when there was somebody to quarrel with him, he didn't become bewildered. Ambaredman didn't become bewildered. He was not disturbed. He didn't even pray to Krishna. Oh, Krishna, please protect me. He didn't even have time to pray. And he waited for the ceremony for 1 year. So he's not Parabhakta. It's not that he's condemned, but in this stage, he's a practitioner.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj,
So,
can I ask?
one more question is there.
Yes.
Like you told the examples of Amrish Maharaj, and here Baldev Vidyabhushan is there. So there are some people also in Bhagavatam, like Twans, Hiranyakashipu. They always thought of Krishna in unfavorable situations, always unfavorably for Krishna. So can we call them also in the line of Matpara devotees? Is it possible?
No. Like, which demon you mentioned now? Hiranyakashipu?
Yes, Twans, Hiranyakashipu.
Kamsa. No, we cannot call them Matpara Bhakta. Like you said, you already disqualified them on favorable devotional service.
Yes, Maharaj.
They eventually got blessing from Krishna. As Sanatana Goswami mentioned, Sanatana Goswami, very beautiful explanation, Sanatana Goswami, that even Krishna's chastisement or Krishna's punishment is full of benedictions. He mentioned Kamsa, which he mentioned. He mentioned Kamsa, many other demons, Putana. Yes, they are the Agasura.
Kaliya Maharaj, Kaliya.
Yes. So they are demons, but the Kaliya, see what Krishna did. Krishna planted the Sudarshan chakra on the heads of Kaliya. Sudarshan disc. Krishna planted him on his 200 hood. Kaliya. Can you imagine that? Is that a blessing or punishment? Huh? By dancing on his hood, Krishna neutralized all his poison and also planted Sudarshan chakra on his head. That from now, Garuda will be your friend, no more a threat. When Garuda will see the Sudarshan chakras, he will offer obeisance. So Garuda and the Kaliya became friends, no more enemies. So this is Krishna's wonderful, amazing nature, quality that even his punishment is a blessing. Look at Putana. Krishna allowed Putana to enter. No inauspicious thing will enter into where Krishna is. It's just that he was physically present. No inauspicious thing would enter there. But Krishna allowed Putana to enter there so that she could get blessed. Krishna gave her that chance. It's a blessing. All right?
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
Maharaj, I want to ask one question. Maharaj, in the case of Kaliya, generally Kaliya also disturbed the Vrajvasis, and no one is more dearer to Krishna than Vrajvasis. But generally Krishna kills all the demons. But in the case of Kaliya, because of Yamuna and because of his Kaliya's devotee wives, he was saved. And not even saved, that Krishna imprinted his footprints on the hoods of Kaliya. So, but my question is that why not Kalia went back to Vrajvasis and begged forgiveness in this case, as we seen in the case of Amrish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. So why Kalia didn't beg forgiveness of the Vrajvasis, and Krishna, of course, Krishna danced on the hooves of Kalia, and he was all free from enviousness, and all poison came out, but still Maharaj, he said.
The Vrajavasis were not offended by. They didn't feel offended by Kalia. They were not offended. So there's no question of going to beg them for forgiveness. None of the demons Krishna killed went to beg Krishna killing Goku. They were even the best of the demons. All the ones that Krishna killed in Vrindavan, they had more blessing from Krishna than those Krishna killed outside Vrindavan. Except only two, Shishupal and Dandavakra. Shishupal and Dandavakra, they didn't have the mercy of Krishna because they offended Brahmanas. All other demons, they got blessing from Krishna. So there's no need for Kalia to come and beg for forgiveness from Vrajavasi because they didn't feel offended. They didn't take offense from him. And Krishna already purified him. He gave him such a benediction that his wife appreciated deeply. The wife said, what austerity our husband has performed that you are blessed. So you drop the dust of your lotus feet on the head of our husband, Kalia, who is so envious. A benediction which a powerful personality are looking for. And Lakshmi Devi meditated seriously to get the dust. You easily place it on the head of our husband. They appreciate it especially in their prayers to Krishna. Listen, Bhagavatam.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. All right. Let's move forward. 62 to 63. 62 and 63. It is what? What is the teaching we go from 62 to 63? Look at the 10.
Process of fall down.
Yes, this is a process of falling down. We also have the process of going up, not falling down. So there are two ways. The process one can fall, and the process one can keep rising. The falling process is taught in this 62-63 chapter 2. The process of not falling down, but going up until we go to Goloka, you will see it in chapter 4. Text 10. So here, Krishna said, Dhyayatu visayan pumsa sangasteju pasjayate sangat sanjayate kamat kruddhu vijayate kruddhat bhavati samoha
while contemplating
samohat smriti vibrama smriti brahmsat buddhinasat panashati. Yeah, this is the process. What is the process of falling down?
While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person
Dhyayata, meditating upon unnecessary things. That's the beginning of our falling down. The beginning is Dhyayata. We should not look at something which is not important unnecessarily. We should not look at unnecessary things more than necessary. Otherwise, what would be the next thing? Sangha, attachment. The mind, the senses go to a particular object. I like this. Oh, I like this. iPhone 13. 13. Why? By looking at it more than necessary. So you see that at the present time, we conditioned souls are unnecessary getting things which we don't need. How are we getting them? Advertisement. Constantly. The moment you open a television, what's the first thing you see? Big alcohol, big woman, big man, big car, big cigarette, everything, they'll pump it. And they say, the best tobacco money can buy. So every day you're being bombasted like this, every day. What's the next thing? You go for it. So if you look at something more than necessary, we're going to get attached to it. When we become attached to something, the desire to get it lost. The desire to get it will be there. If you get it, if you don't get it, we're going to be angry. Anger will come. From anger, the reward is somehow complete delusion. When there is complete delusion, smriti vibrama, bewilderment of memory. The memory is bewildered, loss of intelligence. When intelligence is destroyed, what is the next thing? Pranashati, one falls down. This is a process, falling down. So now we should know how to avoid falling down. Don't contemplate any unnecessary object. We should not look at it more than necessary. So we don't have to think about it more than necessary. Start planning for it. Or start desiring it. Is it clear?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes. But then the process will become steady. See, if I don't like something, don't waste time with it. And Krishna has given the full protection by the measure of property. We have been given a full protection. We have a beautiful deities to look at. Right? We have devotees to look at. Smiling, beautiful. We have a beautiful scriptures to look at. We have a busy schedule, busy schedule. There's something to occupy our mind thinking. So devotee, we should constantly hear about Krishna. We hear about Krishna, it is certain that attraction for Krishna will develop. While contemplating the object of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger arises. From anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls again into the material pool. Yes. Yes. All right.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have a question here. Maharaj, these three things, sammoha, smriti, vibhrama, buddhi, nasha, delusion of memory, bewilderment of memory, and loss of intelligence. They all seem to be very, very similar. If you could just tell more deeply about what is the difference between these three things: delusion, bewilderment of memory, and loss of intelligence. Better could be done by some example, or something like that.
Generally, when we are angry, what are we going to do when we are angry? We will say something to, please go back to the, show the script, activity. When one is angry, we are going to say something quick. We are going to regret later on. This is somebody higher to me, or something that it shouldn't be said. I will say it because why? That is samoha, delusion. When one is deluded, that is the position where someone else. Our situation, what is the next thing? The activity will show the situation where we are. What is that? Bewilderment. We are bewildered. One can be bewildered only when one is deluded. A person not deluded will not be bewildered. Bewilderment of memory. So I don't see your personality as important again until when I'm off that situation, then I was, I'm very sorry. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I do not know. I didn't know. There is one college here in Lagos. The director of that school has a small body. The director has a small body, very small body. That when he is in the middle of a student, you won't see him. He's very, very small. Like if you look at him, he looks like one of the students in the school. So one day, a very arrogant student. The man was going to his office, and he's coming there for admission, and he misbehaved with this man. When he saw him on the way, he didn't look at him to be somebody important, so he misbehaved. He pushed him when we were passing. He was shocked when he got to the office and saw that he's the man sitting in the chair. And the director recognized him. That this boy pushed me, and I was coming to him. I was the end of his admission in that college. And he now is begging, I'm very sorry. I did not know. I did not know. Yes? Why you don't know? Because he's he's deluded. He's deluded. Because he's deluded, his memory cannot show. The memory cannot tell him that. Why at all should he push someone on the way? Why? Even if the man is not such an exalted person in the academic field, why should he do that? Because he's deluded. When he's deluded, the memory is lost. And because the memory is not there, intelligence is also lost. Therefore, he couldn't get admission in the school. Fall down. Yeah. Yes. He fell back to the street, back to where he was coming from. All right.
So, Maharaj, I mean, after one gets deluded, one acts in a manner he should not have acted, and then he is regretting that why I acted this way. Better I have not done this way. So after this thing, where does this bewilder? Like this is what I understand as delusion. Now after that, what is if you could tell what is bewilderment of memory, and then after that, what is loss of
bewilderment means that now you are confused. You don't even know who is who. Like this example I gave, I couldn't recognize that this small person can be a person responsible in any way. So he's bewildered. If he's not deluded, he would have been bewildered to minimize somebody. Either the person is big or not big. At least we should have a human quality to recognize that someone is here. I should behave properly. After all, he's a student. We'll have learn how to behave properly.
So Maharaj, from this, what I understand is that one acting in a manner in which he shouldn't have acted, and then he's regretting. This is like delusion. And when one reaches bewilderment of memory, he does not even know that what is right and what is wrong.
Yes.
He does not regret also.
Yes.
Okay, Maharaj. I got this till point. And Maharaj, after that, what is loss of intelligence, which is the next step?
So the activity of a person who is bewildered, what do you gain from it?
He will always do wrong.
Everything is wrong, is useless. Everything about it is useless. I mean, there's no intelligence. The person is considered a fool. There's no intelligence.
Okay. So it means, Maharaj, that after one has lost sense of discrimination regarding what is right and what is wrong.
Discrimination, yes.
Then whatever he acts out of without any intelligence, doing all the wrong activities, that is this loss of intelligence.
Everything will go wrong. Everything will be. There's nothing which will be. Nothing which is useful. There's no activity for a bewildered person, especially the confusion, less memory, less intelligent. You cannot do anything which is wonderful. So the person is lost. Pranashati.
Maharaj, can you tell some more regarding this, like how this thing happened in case of devotees? Like these are the example that was given by you, that was more of a, that happens in the outside world. But how does a devotee, acts in association with devotees when he is in this situation of loss of intelligence?
A devotee less intelligent does not have respect for anyone.
Okay.
And he will not. A devotee who is less intelligent, he's going to see things based on his own clouded consciousness. He don't see anything beyond his situation. Even though he see a pure devotee before him, he will not see as a pure devotee. He's going to accept a fool as a pure devotee. You see, many Hare Krishna, if you look very carefully, you will see that from my experience, if you check very carefully, see from my experience, that majority of Hare Krishna devotees are more impersonal than those who we call impersonalists. Most impersonal. If I don't have anything to do with you, I can see you in the street and walk past you without greeting you. Even though I know you, we are in the same temple, I say even as a devotee. Many devotees, they walk past a devotee, they pure devotee. Why is that? There's no intelligence. Oh, Haribo Maharaj. What is that? That's intelligence. When the Brigumoni did that to Brahma, what happened to me? They wanted to kill him. Hello, Daddy. My son. Brahma wanted to kill him. No intelligence. So Brahma said, you are a Muni. I trained you to be intelligent, to be wise, to be civilized, to do the right thing. And you don't know anything, you are a fool. The consequence of Brahma wanted to kill him. The same thing happened to Ramahasa and Sutta. Lord Balaram killed him. Lord Balaram killed him not just because he didn't get down from Nasan to greet him. Lord Balaram said, you are a disciple of Vyasadeva and you are less intelligent. So you are a disgrace for Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva should have a disciple like you. That's why he killed him. Lost intelligence. So many devotees are like this, have no respect, no single respect. No single respect. If one has the intelligence, Lord Krishna told us, chapter 435, that when one gets this knowledge, you will never fall again into delusion. So delusion And when we see that all living entities, all living entities are his part and parcel. So do we see people like that? Is that about vision? No. So what is that? Is that intelligence or less intelligence? Less intelligence. Many devotees are less intelligent. We don't have respect for each other, even as a spirit soul. No respect.
So
and because you don't have respect, you cannot make advancement. Because you are going to make offense to anybody, especially pure devotees, they will be easily blasphemed, criticized, and even crucified. All right?
Yes, Maharaj. Got it, Maharaj. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Maharaj. And Maharaj, if
destroying their life. Yes?
Maharaj, if we see someone acting in this way, that, someone is, acting on this platform, loss of intelligence. Sometimes, of course, we do hear that we should not judge a devotee. That is not our duty. But if we see someone acting like him, then what should be our stand? What should we do in such a situation? Otherwise, we will also be disrespecting him mentally.
Yes, we should not judge devotee. Not judging devotee doesn't mean that we are also fools, we are less intelligent. We don't know who is who. So about Israel, as what he said, if we mistake a pure devotee for a fool, or a fool for a pure devotee, it's our fault, it's our problem. We will suffer for it. So we should not judge devotee, but that doesn't mean I should be a fool and I can be cheated. Somebody can tell me nonsense thing and I will not be able to discriminate. I should be able to know that this person is acting foolishly. So what should we do? We should know so that we can avoid that person not to keep close association with what is such devotees. At the same time, we protect ourselves, because if you are very close with them, we are going to make offense and look at this low class person. So better we don't keep close associations. We don't minimize the person also. But if the person is fortunate to hear us, we should say something. But if we don't have that chance, we should avoid the person or the people. That's why we should study the scripture so that we want to know exactly who is who, and we know how to deal with everybody without making offense. That's right. That is the reason why Rupa Goswami gave us letter of instruction. So we can know how to deal with everybody, every situation, without offending anybody, nor being cheated by somebody. Did it make sense?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. I think I only 2 minutes left. Any other question? Yes. No, go back a bit. You say complete it. Yes. That is thinking stage, and then a feeling stage, and a willing stage before it become gross. You see, if one is thinking, feeling, and willing, they are all in a subtle stage. Nobody see it. You say yourself. But when that becomes dense, it will turn to anger. One can see the anger. Anger can manifest, even if you don't say that, it will manifest in activities which we do. So we can see it become grosser from anger to the remaining parts. The gross falling down. All right.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Tomorrow we have class.
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes.
Maharaj, same time, 6:30 or we will have later?
7 to 9:30, Prabhuji.
Pardon me?
7 to 9:30, as it is for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Sima Bhagavata Siddhis ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.